Shalom and good day all, this is the Healing29 back again for another some indie comic reviews. And in these indie comic reviews, I'll be covering Redcoat by Jeff Johns and Rogue Sun by, is it Michael Parrott? By the writer of Parrott. I'll now get things ready and organised for the first one that will be reviewed. So, moving into first things first, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? Sure enough it does, to which I give it a 7.5 out of 10, but I do need to point out something about this cover, is that it's in fact a wraparound cover, and it's really nice to see these come out with each issue of Redcoat and also some of the other series as well, whether it's Hyde Street, whether it's Halo and Hornsby, should they do any for that one, and also the Rocket Fellas, which are sort of like the main Ghost Machine stories that I am following presently. So now I'll move to the area of the internal art and what is happening story-wise with the characters as we follow the character of Simon Pure, who still looks like Chris Hemsworth in this particular story. So as this particular story begins, we learn that this one is taking place in regards of the year of 1873. We get to meet some of the people who are at this particular vicinity or location. As we start to move towards the middle of the story, we notice that Simon Pure ends up getting into a bit of a conflict at the very same location to which these people entered in, and we get to see quite a lot happening to him, but also the characters that are in this particular location. And last but not least, towards the end of the story, to which it looks like we're finally starting to move a little bit into the future with the character a little bit more. So what we got to see in this particular issue was a bit of a glimpse into some of the things that have happened in Simon Pure's past, whilst as we move towards the end of the issue, we are learning that Simon Pure might actually be going after the character of Geiger. So I wouldn't be surprised if the next issue might actually be or come across preparing for a crossover between Redcoat and Geiger, which may take place in the next issue or the issue after that. So for the internal art, I give it a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the area of the story and the 3 areas that I like to cover specifically. First is the area of time, to which we had the years 1959. That's covered in sort of like the main reference. 1873, to which a majority of these events took place, and also 1909. I also wonder if you might meet up with the character of Junkyard Joe, though I think that would be an interesting, a conflict between them, or if both of these characters would actually be fighting on the same side. Next is the location. We didn't get any indication of where it was taking place location-wise within the story. But last but not least, we move into the cast of characters, to which we had Simon Pure, John Bender, Daniel Hornside, Kate, Johnny Appleseed, and last but not least, the mention of Geiger. For the overall story rating, I give it a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move on to Rogue Sun issue 24. So as we move into Rogue Sun issue 24, does this cover in any way, shape or form connect to something that is happening inside with the story? In some essence it does, to which I give it a 7 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the area of the internal art, but but also what is happening story-wise with the characters. So as the story begins, we are greeted once again with the area of the past, with the character of Divinity and her mother. I think her name is Dottie or Dorothy or something like that. And we see that there seems to be someone that is in turn related to her mother. As we start to move towards the middle of the story, we get a bit of a clash between past and present within these next couple of pages. First, with what is happening with the character of Dylan Bell and what's happening in his situation, and also returning to the past, to which Divinity's mother's brother, Micah, is talking to her. And last but not least, towards the end, to which Dylan Bell, who is the rogue son, who is rushing to get to a bit of a situation, and also learning that there's a death connected to one of the characters. And whilst this is happening, I do have some questions as to what is happening with Dylan's mother and his brother and sister in the story. What will be happening with them during these time of events. For the internal art, I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Now it's time to move in relation to the area of the story. Considering how far we are, did we get any comic book references to any of the previous issues? No, we didn't. Next is the area of the time, to which we only had the past being made mention of. No mention of whether most of the events that we are seeing now are taking place in the present or somewhere else. With the locations, I managed to make out within the story. We had the return of the Avery and also the cemetery. The cast of characters consisting of Divinity, Micah, Dylan Bell, Rogue Son. The overall story rating for this is a 6 out of 10. Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.